Good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Sean Smith.
And my name is Prescott Phillips, and this is Brew City Bug Talk.
Hello, welcome back to the show. How's it going today, Prescott?
It's going pretty good.
What's going on?
Oh, I just got back from Florida. We did, Chuck Fryer did sick week, and we did pretty good, but man, it was a long week, and I didn't even race in it. And
I can imagine that. I mean, now you know what I felt like at Sick Ward when I followed you around last year.
Yeah, but it was 2 days, it's 2 days to drive there, 2 days back. Well, actually, a day and a half.
You guys hammered out the ride home.
Yeah, but Chuck set a personal best at 11:39, and his average kind of stunk, but it is what it is. He didn't win the fastest VW. He would have if he would have ran.
His first day on his first run, he reglet on his run. It was a solid run. It was one of the fastest.
Yeah,
good
car. Yeah, when he hit the line lock, he didn't push the brakes down hard enough, and it pushed through the lights and turned the red light on. And
yeah, that was tough because that was a solid run too.
And then we were going to stay to the end and make another pass, but then it got too late, and they didn't let anybody make a second pass. And
yeah, that was odd because that was odd for the first night. They didn't allow any of the all race usually at the end.
It just got too late. I mean, if we would have made a run, we didn't get to the hotel till 2 o'clock.
No, I understand that, but still, I mean, offer it up. If people want to stay there and do the run, let them do the run. They shut everything down. Like they didn't let anybody do it.
No, I know, and that's just because they have. You got to understand, they have to tear down all that stuff and set it up at another track.
I understand that, but that still has
all them haulers got to leave. Everybody's got to leave.
Chuck would have won his class if he got a run in.
Yeah,
he took a 20-second time penalty, and he would have beat the Gia.
Yeah, right.
Congratulations
James.
to I forget his name, but congratulations to the guy with the Carmen Gia.
It's James.
Yes, he had solid runs all week. He kicked ass, and he won for the fastest Volkswagen. It was cool. Yeah. But I was rooting for Chuck, hometown favorite. So
yeah, he would have won it. But we had a good time. I got back as soon as I got back home. I got sick. At sick week, so I've been nursing this cold for a week now.
Well, you're better now. We're on to bigger, better things.
Yep. We're trying to muscle our way through the rest of winter here. It's a snowstorm right now. There's 5, 6, 7 inches of snow on.
Yeah, they shut down schools today, so Thomas was home with me all day running around.
Yeah, it's a crazy. I had to go to the doctor this morning, and it's been a crazy, and I'm ready for winter to end.
Same here. I am so ready for something like spring or summer to get here, because it's just, I want to get back out in the garage where it's comfortable and be able to work on things. And
exactly. So
right.
But we have a guest here, and this is kind of how we start out our season, is with the event that our next guest puts on.
So our guest today is Mike Carey from Michigan Buggy Builders Show. So, all right. Well, hello and welcome to the show, Mike. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Your show pretty much starts out our season as far as our Volkswagen events go. Every year for the past, I don't know how many has it been, 30 years?
44.
44 years, right?
Yeah.
And this is pretty much what starts out our season, is the Buggy Builders Show, and then it's boom, 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 one thing after the next. The shows start popping up as the weather gets nicer and nicer.
So let me give you a little quick second to introduce yourself. Who are you, and where you're from, and what's kind of background?
Well, Mike Carey. I'm from West Michigan here. I've always lived in Michigan for the most part in my adult life. Spent a few years out west, but my connection to Volkswagens in the Silver Lake Sand Dunes area, I was fortunate enough to have my family settled in this area back in the 1800s.
Really?
Wow.
So, I'm actually living on the family farm now. We recently remodeled the house and got everything back together. Next year will be our 100th year here on this property.
Wow.
But so as growing up as a kid in the 60s and the 70s, we came up here to holidays, summer vacation, whatever, and the
Yeah.
sand dunes are 5 miles away.
Yeah. That's a lot of sand.
Yeah, yeah. And so, we were always paying attention to it. My brother and I were always gearheads watching cars and stuff. So my dad bought us a Volkswagen back in '69. Before either one of us were really driving, we fixed it up. My brother and I both drove it through high school. And later on, he bought a body buggy.
Hold on, hold on. What can you describe the Volkswagen that he bought that you? I like to give my guess.
Oh, well, it was a '59 sedan barn find,
Okay.
and it was all painted up with enamel paint, hippie flowers and stuff. And so we cleaned out the system, the fuel system, got it spark, and push started it out to the neighborhood, and it blew out mouse nest and chicken
Oh,
feathers
yeah.
out of the exhaust.
Yeah.
But after that, it was just a matter of I moved on to a '66 Beetle for the rest of my high school career. My brother went on to a '69 Beetle after that. But still, the fact that we always had this Silver Lake connection,
Yeah.
once we got out of school, we both ended up living up here, and my brother and I both worked for Apple Tree Automotive with Larry Wagner.
Really?
Right.
Yep, yep. And Sean was there in the '70s. I was there in the '80s or the '90s. And
I probably bought some parts off you then
yeah, probably.
because we would go to the dunes and never fail something breaks. At least it would have bought a flag from you to put on my sand rail.
Oh, sure.
Because we would roll up there with nothing.
And it was great. It was a great opportunity to work in the business that we liked, and we had friends in and so on. The nice thing about it though is that we were about 5 miles away from the sand dunes, our family farm. And as we got older, my brother and we lived here. I worked for the state park. He worked at Apple Tree. I was a state park ranger back in the '80s, and but we would buy Volkswagens and pull out the transmissions and engines and sell them to the buggy guys, and then push the rest of the cars out over the hillside. So we got 20 acres here.
Wow.
So we enjoyed having a parts haven for years. It's not what it used to be by any means, but when I worked at Apple Tree, I had an agreement with Larry Wagner. If I had something he couldn't supply, I could go and get my stuff and sell it,
Right,
So
right.
it was a great relationship, but still the fact that now I'm working with the Buggy Builders Show, I've got a lot of relationships I've had with people, and I bet 70% of the people that come to the Buggy Builders Show, I already know. It's a great community, and like you say, it's the kickoff to the new season.
Right.
And we've always made a point of keeping it in late March before April 1st, because after April 1st, the dunes are open.
Right.
And nobody's going to a show after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me pause you there. Let me back it up a little bit.
Sure.
Getting into the Buggy Builder Show. So you host the Michigan Buggy Builder Show. When was your first experience with it, or were you one of the original founders of this show? And how long has this show been around for?
Well, as I said, it's been around for 44 years, and I'm only the third caretaker of the program, if you will.
And about what year did you get involved with it?
I started in about 2017. And, obviously it goes back. But the nice thing about this show is that I took it over from a good friend of mine, Mike Summer. And then he took it over from the original folks that ran it for over 20 years, Jim and Dee Cathcart.
Do you have a year, like a date that the first Buggy Builder Show happened?
1981.
1981? Okay.
Yep. And that was at the
That's a year after I was born.
Yeah. And I unfortunately I don't think I went to any of those early shows, but and actually no, '81 I was out in Arizona living and doing stuff. So, but still, it started small, and the thing is, I am in regular contact with all the previous folks. I speak with Jim and Dee Cathcart on a regular basis annually. They stop by and see us here at the farm once in a while because they come up here in the summertime, but. No, Jim and Dee ran it through a couple of different places in Lansing, the county fairgrounds, the armory, but then ended up at the Lansing the Lansing Center,
Right.
which they were one of the first people that rented out the Lansing Center first year.
Is
Yeah,
that
the
where we
first
went
year I
last
went
year?
to it, it was there. That was the initial the first time they were at the Lansing Center, and I
Yeah,
went. That was 1985. It was in the 80s,
right,
80,
right.
85, 86, 87, right around there. And I could not believe. I mean, you expect a swap meet, and you roll in there, and there's semis inside, and there's thousands of people, and I had no idea. I went up there to buy a set of pedal tires just because it was going to be worth my while to get a deal on pedal tires. And me and my first wife rolled in her Subaru, and because I needed the room for a set of pedal tires, but we didn't get in. We just went in with the regular. We didn't go in with the vendors. We were in with the general population, and we went. By the time we got in to the show, all the deals were people were already leaving with stuff, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" I could not believe the amount of transactions that were taking place. So then I don't remember if it was the next year or the year after that, but I said, I am always going to get a spot. And because I had all kinds of parts at home, and I'm like, this is perfect. I can make money and turn around and spend that money and try to break even at least
Exactly. Yeah,
with
that's
my
been the
with
beauty of the show for decades.
yeah. So I've been there with uh and myself with friends of mine. We would get 4 or 5 spots just to get everybody in. And I've gone with Mofoco when they used to pull their hauler in, and
Oh
I've
yeah.
gone and helped them. This is, you remember those days. That was
Oh yeah.
craziness,
Oh yeah.
because Mofoco had to be the first one in and the last one out. And they got me in for nothing if I helped them out. And that's, we did
Yep.
that for years on here. But then it seemed like the internet came along and started really biting into the Buggy Builders show. And and that goes with any swap meet. It just it just
Exactly.
it just took a big hit. Everything took a hit. Just because the internet was so universal, and you could buy stuff year round, not just at the Buggy Builders show that only lasted one day.
So you had to give me a description of what the Buggy Builder Show is. What is it? Give me that breakdown of it.
Well, it's a 1 day indoor off-road swap meet because it's kind of based off in groups off in the Silver Lake sand dunes. So if motorcycle, 4x4, Volkswagen, water cooled. I mean, there's so many different aspects that you can find parts for. And now this year, as the way things are going up on the dunes in the off-road market, we're expanding and incorporating more side-by-side folks.
Yeah, that's
So
a
we're going to
huge
have a
market.
big side-by-side display. I've got some great folks bringing some products to display. And but still, you have your core Volkswagen dune buggy off-road people too. So,
Yeah,
but like you said, granted, I took it over in 2017, and I could see the impact of the internet and everything like that. And then, of course, COVID hit,
yeah.
changed really everything. But since COVID, our show has stayed consistent every year for a number of vendors, 130, 40 vendors, over 1,000 attendees type of thing. If that stays consistent, I think we've got some longevity to the show, and I'm going to keep going. So,
Sure.
I must
Yeah,
say, last year was my first year going. I only recently have really hit Volkswagen hardcore. And Prescott told me, hey, come to the show. You're going to like it. You're going to be able to sell all your
yeah.
stuff.
People
It
can't.
was, it was wild. It was by far, it was what everybody tells me how Volkswagens used to be and, swap meets and stuff. It was that in one show. Like there was so many vendors. There was so much stuff to buy. Like I was amazed. It was,
Yeah, I told him he had to go. You will not believe how many people go through the show. Now, back in the '90s, I would make three, four, $5,000 in a matter of hours. And now, mind you, I'd have to bring that much stuff along. But back in the heyday, I think I remember the numbers were like 15,000 people went through the door or something. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, you could see it as they went into the door. It was a sea of people would go up and down the aisles. It was just amazing to watch. and people that have not experienced it have no idea and how crazy it is, and how much stuff is there, and it's almost too big for one day, but it's a surge of people, and then it kind of thins out, and then it's like the deals. You can't walk around the place and looking for a deal. If you see it and you need it, you better buy it.
There were so many items that I tried to I walked up to a table, I saw it, and I was like, I made an offer, and the guy didn't want. I was like, all right, I'll come back. I would come back. It was gone.
Yeah.
There's no coming back.
It was gone within 5 minutes.
Yes. But I mean, it was like I made over $1,000 at the show. Like selling, I don't want to say for the IRS, I didn't make anything. But $1,000 at the show selling stuff that I brought up there. Like I didn't really pass on any sale. Like if it was a decent price, like the guys wanted to offer me a decent price, sure, take it. Less stuff I had to take back. It was awesome.
And that's the beauty of the show, and it's hard to communicate that because ever since I took over the show, and I know Mike and everybody else before would really communicate with the vendors and go around and say, "How's it going? Is everything good?" I've got a vendor that comes from Tennessee.
Yeah.
From Tennessee and buys multiple spots, and every year it's like, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back. He's now a good friend, because I go down south swapping. And the thing is, I'm kind of doing this because I've been a swapper for 50 years myself, just because, you start having a Volkswagen when you're a kid. Well, you're going to start buying and selling and, trying to keep your hobby going the best way you can. So
that's typical Volkswagen. Volkswagen people are swap meet guys.
Yep. Yep.
They like a deal. They like haggling. They like, all that. And it's so the Buggy Builders Show and Volkswagens are a perfect fit, and it's if I feel bad for people that have never gone to it because they're missing out,
Oh, it is definitely the biggest swap meet, Volkswagen related swap meet in the Midwest.
Is it the biggest one in the nation? Do you think?
No, because I've been to Pomona.
Well, Pomona is more
that's everything. I had the benefit of going to Pomona back in the 90s, and I spent 8 hours there and didn't get out of Porsche Volkswagen section. No, you didn't get to the Mustangs. I mean, like all of those, we've all suffered a hit from the internet and whatnot. But still, we have such a strong base group that is.
But it's got to be the biggest indoor one, though, right?
Yes, it is. We're the biggest indoor off-road. You got the Sand Sports Super Show out west, and I don't try to even come close to that.
Yeah, that's a different deal.
In this is, I think, our third year, we've been fortunate to have EMPI as a national sponsor, which that has not been part of this show in the past. They were all, we're a group of small business owners, and all my sponsors are small business owners, and it's great. But to have a national sponsor like EMPI to see the value of the show and come in and offer, giveaways and that kind of thing, it's a great recognition.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me ask you, what would be your fondest memory of the show throughout the years that you have?
From the beginning in 81 to about 2007, Jim and Dee Cathcart ran the show. They were members of the Michigan Sport Buggy Association, and they started it and ran it. But about 2007, Jim retired. So he was kind of like ready to back off after 20 years of this project. And Michael Summer took it over, a friend of mine who also at the time was the editor of Sand Sports magazine.
Yeah, I remember those days because Sand Sports, everybody said, well, Sand Sports magazine owns this show now. And I'm like, I wasn't sure of the relationship, No,
I mean, Mike had the show, but Sand Sports was the secondary part of it.
Okay.
And at about 2011, I had some other things going on and I wasn't involved with the show. I knew Mike was taking it over. But 2011, I started helping Mike with the show because he's always been a friend for way back before then. So Mike would do the show, and then myself and some other folks would run the Sand Sports subscription booth.
Right.
So we did that for a few years, and of course, I was with Mike all the time. And as he decided to transition into other things, I kind of became a natural candidate to take over the show. So that, it's not something that it's almost where I had to get the approval of the originator as well as Mike, kind of a thing to find the right fit. It's a project that you just don't give to anybody. It's like,
Right.
hey, you
Somebody
put
needs
it
to
up for
be,
sale or something like that.
yeah,
And I'm not doing it because I'm getting rich off it. I'm a retired sales associate. And this gives me enough things to do in the wintertime to stay busy and keep my mind
sure.
active, because I don't know if you can see outside. It's dark now, but it's been snowing like
Oh
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's snowing like
We're in
crazy here.
Wisconsin, so
Yeah, yeah,
everything that's hit us has come by
and I
you.
used to cover Wisconsin. I know the state well, so
Yep.
So
yeah,
let's,
it's something I do that I like to, and it gives me a chance to get back and meet all my friends that I've known for years. It's like everybody else does. It's the kickoff show. You go and
right.
have conversations with friends you haven't seen over the
Oh
winter.
yeah. All our
Talk
friends
about
from,
projects you got going on, and
yeah, right. All my friends from Ohio and Michigan and Indiana and Illinois. This is our meetup. We used to rent a hotel conference room the night before and have a little shindig, little get together, and then we'll go to the hotel bar and talk the bartender into staying late, and then we'd have to get up in a couple hours and go to the show. It was the worst idea ever, but it was,
well, when I worked the show, I mean, I used to go there with Apple Tree for years
yeah,
and work the show. And I remember the years where it was thousands of people. It was just crazy. And even Larry's wife, Sharon, would make food for us. So we had food in our booth. He'd had like 12 booths there, and you did not leave that booth unless you had to use the restroom,
right,
It's
exactly.
food, everything's provided. You're doing nothing but selling those whole times. And oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
Yeah,
it
it
was
sells,
just
sell, sell. Now
solid
let's
people.
talk about the new venue.
Sure.
I just got my
Oh, great.
I got this in the mail today, this little gift, and it's got a QR code on it and everything.
You betcha.
And is this how many of these did you mail out?
Just under over to 7,000.
7,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Our mailing list is produced by people that have only been to the show as an attendee or a vendor.
Right,
Wow.
Well,
right.
you got 44 years to go from,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
And
That's how
it's
you
like,
get
talk about a pre-qualified sales, mailing list, eh?
Yes.
right. It's good. Now I like this. Now let's talk about the new venue. It's uh Ingham County Fairgrounds.
Ingham County
Ingham.
Fairgrounds is actually the county that Lansing is in.
Okay.
So it's like probably 20 miles from the Lansing Center south in Mason, Michigan. The downtown Lansing just was not any more conducive to big trucks and trailers and
Right.
manageability and parking spaces, and it was getting difficult and expensive.
Yeah, a room in downtown Lansing is not cheap. So we would usually stay kind of out of town, and then even then it's like, what are we doing? We're getting a room to sleep in for 3 hours, you know. So then we just started leaving later and just sleep for a couple hours in the truck and then get in line, you know. That's what we were doing. And that's what we do to this day, just to keep, usually I'm home back about the same time, 24 hours later,
Yep.
and it's all good.
Yep.
So how many spots are available is this a smaller venue now?
It's a smaller venue, but it will still accommodate the same number of spots that we've been selling.
Okay.
That's the thing. I mean, we quit after COVID, we quit filling up the Lansing Center.
Right.
And for a couple of years, I brought back the car show to try to fill that spot up and bring more things in. But it's
Right.
still a challenge for anybody to have a car show in the wintertime. And, if you don't have a covered trailer, car
Yep.
show people usually drive into, and stuff. So
Yeah, and we've been to this buggy builder show in every imaginable type of weather. It's been blizzards. It's been 65 degrees. It's been raining. It's been nice. It's been horrible. I mean, it's in the weather in Michigan in early spring is unpredictable. So the car show guys, it's like, I can see where they struggle, you know.
So we pretty much focused just on the swap meet this year. But still, again, it's an indoor arena. It's heated, electric, but it's at a fairground. So we have free parking, it's just, there's not so many restrictions. We have free Wi-Fi. We have a great food truck for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I saw that on the flyer, like food truck. All right. I mean,
yeah, well, and the last couple of years, the Lansing Center, under, for budget reasons, their concession stand was shut down for improvements, and they had the temporary program going, and it just didn't.
It was terrible.
Yeah, last year, I remember the food just not being. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I still got my breakfast and coffee or my donut and coffee, but I mean, I was expecting more.
Yeah.
No, this year we've got a guy that everything you can imagine. So, and he's part of the fairgrounds. He's a regular fairground concessionaire. So, yeah, no, I'm very, very encouraged by that. And the more relaxed atmosphere of working with the management. The Lansing Center, there was so many layers of management to work with.
I can't imagine it was
for a one-day show. No, I don't need that much work.
Yeah, that's too much bureaucracy. So this new venue has how many spots are you selling? Like, I think
we're up still at our 120. We're probably half sold right now. So
wow.
I'm kind of. I haven't actually mapped out the floor plan yet. I'm going to see how many, if I can give a little bit bigger spots, because, we can, I will, but having the chance to go first time into a situation, we've got a lot of flexibility. So,
all right, how many hundred spots are? So for our listeners and viewers out there, what entails a spot? Like what size? What do you get? What's the cost?
Right now our spots are 10 by 12.
Okay.
And that's what they've always been.
Okay.
It includes 2 entry passes and a vehicle pass to come in and drop off your stuff and pull out and park.
And then the cost of that is what?
$50 for a vendor spot.
Okay. And that's much cheaper than it's ever been. I can't remember the last time it was $50.
Now, if you're somebody just coming there to purchase parts, what is the admission fee to get in?
Admission is $10. Kids under 12 free.
Okay.
Again, super cheap. I mean, it's what can you do?
I'll tell you this much:
it's
the best value for Volkswagen swap meet in the Midwest. It was by far the best swap meet show that I've been to in the Midwest, and I'm not understating that by any means. Like, I just walking row by row and just the amounts of parts and stuff. You don't find that anywhere else at any other show that's in the Midwest, which is unfortunate, but it's great for you guys because it's awesome.
So if somebody wants to sell parts at the Buggy Builder Show, what's the easiest, best way to do that?
We've got an online registration set up, buggybuilders.com. You can go there and either print off a registration form and, fill it out and mail in a check, or you can just use our online store.
Okay. And just pay with a credit card
PayPal,
or
whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
And is there a deadline? Is there a deadline for registering?
Pardon me?
Is there a deadline to register for a spot?
Now you're
sorry, I didn't mean to
I think well, you always have to do it. I think registration online stops like March 7th, a week before. Somebody registers, you go online or whatever, you send me a check. I send you back a vendor packet with all the information for the day of the show, your wristbands, because we use wristbands for vendors, your vehicle pass and that kind of stuff. So that information is always sent back. Well, after March 7th, I can't count on the mail getting it to you.
Exactly.
So you can pick it up at the door. That's still fine. So you just have to be. We'll
so as long as you have spots for sale,
left, we'll take them at the door.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's great, because this show has sold out in the past.
In the past we have, and actually this year I'm hoping we will. We of course had the whole Lansing Center, so we didn't sell out the last couple of years, but I'm thinking now with this space, it's like I said, today we're probably about not quite halfway, but the mailers like you just received,
Yeah.
just those were mailed out on Monday.
Okay.
And I've changed that around to, I've changed a lot of things this year. But I have a new printer in Holland, Michigan. So they were bulk mailed from Holland on Monday.
Wow.
So, I mean, I got mine today. I think everybody in the Great Lakes will have it by the weekend. So, and I've
Yeah.
already got some booth sales coming in on the computer. So,
Right.
no, I think it's great. I think it's working out good.
Yeah, I just need to figure out who all wants to go, and I'll get on the computer and get as many spots as I need to get. Now it's March
Yeah, what's the
16th.
date?
It's always on a Sunday, right?
Correct.
Sunday, March 16th.
Yes.
March 16th. Yep.
And what time do the doors open for people to set up their booths?
Well, if you're a vendor,
Yes.
on March 16th, you can start coming in at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And then 5:30 till 9. So we try to load the whole place up in that 3.5 hour period of time. And then the regular public, once we get all the vehicles out and all the setup, then we can let the public in at 9 o'clock.
Okay. Very cool. And just
Very
for
cool.
anybody watching this video, I suggest getting buying a booth because most of the deals are gone before the doors open to the public. So that's one of the advantages of spending your $50 setting up a booth because you get first dib. I remember unloading the vehicle, and as I'm pulling stuff out, people are making me offers on the stuff before I can even put it on the ground. And it's like, let me get unloaded first.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's well worthwhile getting a spot.
Yes.
It's only a couple bucks more than going through the door, and it's well worth it for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, I thank you very much for being on the show. It's great because this is kind of what we're looking forward to doing more of this year is promoting some of the Volkswagen events that are throughout the country, not alone just the Midwest, but throughout the country. So it's awesome having you on the show to be able to promote this event. And we go to this event, so
Yeah,
it's not even better. So
yeah, we go to it, so why not promote it, right? I mean, it's hard to talk some people into it. They're like, really? And they don't believe you, But
I like to say, if you won't know if you don't go,
yeah, you don't.
Kind of a thing. And I appreciate you guys kind of getting the word out for us because it is it's been going on for so long, but
Yeah.
it's still such a new thing for so many people. It's like, well,
Where have you been for 40 years?
all this time. Yeah.
I mean, how can you say you're into Volkswagens if you never heard of the Buggy Builders Show? It's amazing. And thanks for being on the show. Thanks you for keeping this every year. I'm like, boy, I hope the Michigan Buggy Builders Show survives. It survives COVID, the internet, all that stuff.
give your email again real quick for anybody watching that knows how to contact you.
Everything you need to find out is at buggybuilders.com.
Great.
That's our website. And again, you could copy off a registration to print and then mail in, or you can just email them.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
I'll stay here.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very
Hey,
much.
thank you.
See you next month.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was pretty awesome. What do we
Yeah,
have?
the show's been going on for over 40 years, and I'm glad it's surviving. It would be a shame for it to disappear. It's not as big as it'll ever be, but it's still well worth going.
It is definitely like I am not understating by any means. It is definitely the biggest swap meet show that I've been to in the Midwest. Although I haven't been going to them for a long time, there's nothing else in my area that I've seen that's been the equivalent to this show. So
yeah, it's hundreds of vendors. There's other things, four-wheelers and motorcycles and 4x4s, and there's a little bit of that stuff thrown in there as well. But I would say it's probably 80% Volkswagen.
Yep.
Related stuff.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here before we run out of time. If you've been following us on the internet, we have a shop list that we put together. that is available for everybody to download on our Facebook page at Brew City Bug Talk on Facebook. We also have a leave behind that we created for our Transmission 101. It's a little quick reference guide that we made. It's posted on our Facebook page also. You guys can download that, and that way you have it in your garage. You can always find us at Gmail at bcbugtalk@gmail.com, Instagram, Brew City Bug Talk, and here, YouTube is our next big thing that we're promoting here. So check us out on YouTube at Brew City Bug Talk. And also the podcast. You can download us everywhere you listen to us.
Right.
The
YouTube is taking off.
Yes.
And how many views we have on our transmission video?
100 million. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. Go ahead and leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Anything else you want to say, Prescott?
Oh, leave some juicy comments on that YouTube stuff. I don't think we have any comments on it.
Oh yeah. I've been answering them all week.
Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, they're definitely out there. I try to respond to every single one, so that's pretty awesome. We're growing. I mean, it's slowly growing, but we've only had a YouTube channel for what? Basically, we started doing videos at the beginning of this year, so we've only had
this year, channel. Right?
Like we were doing the recordings up there like a few months ago, but
every episode is available, right?
What's that?
Every episode is on YouTube, right?
Yes, every episode. But we only started doing the video this year.
Right. Yeah, the early ones are just audio only.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you guys very much for watching, and have a good night.
Yep. Good night. Peace out.